Hey guys, it's Kelly. Let's talk about the art of letting go. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kelly, and I just want to make another disclaimer before I go into this video. I'm not a licensed professional. This is just advice from my experiences that I've picked up in life, and I just want to help you guys, and that's why I'm sharing my content. I'm not getting paid for anything I do, and I don't have any licenses for anything I do. So that's just a disclaimer before I get into this video. So the art of letting go and how it draws us closer to our higher purpose and how it connects us with our higher selves. So let's talk about older versions of ourselves. So over time, we evolve into being better people, right? We're not the same person we were 5 years ago, and we're not the same person we were 10 years ago. And I think it's essential as we grow more as individuals to really let go of those versions of ourselves, our past mistakes, our setbacks, our failures. I think it's essential to let those things go so that we can become new people or better people to serve our higher and greater good. So for me, an example for me would be when I was in high school, I didn't have very many friends. I had like acquaintances, I was really outgoing, but at the same time I was really shy, and I really didn't put myself out there, but now I'm a lot more confident in myself. I'm not shy, and how I make friends is a lot different than how I made friends before. Talking about friends, it is essential as we grow more and we experience more in life to not really hold on to old people or friends or bad influences or other types of people in our lives that don't make us better. I don't have the same friends that I have had in high school. I don't even have the same friends that I had in college, like freshman year. I'm now going into my junior year. I'm saying I don't have the same friends because I realized I had to sit down and realize, like, do these people really care about me? Are they helping me evolve? Are they helping me grow? Are they bringing anything to the friendship table? And is this an equal exchange? If you answer no to all of those questions, then you need to let these people in your life go, especially friends. It's okay to have friends that serve an older version of yourself, but 5 years from now, you're not going to be that same person. Now, there is an exception for friends when it comes to like childhood friends or people that you're like really close to and you built a bond with over the years and really connected with. It's you got that bond and you've known each other for a while. But I'm saying like acquaintances or friends that aren't really good for you and you know that they're not good for you. So these types of friends will like drain your energy every time you're around them. They're not really consistent with communication. These are just a couple indicators that you can see if these friends don't serve your higher or greater good anymore. Communication is inconsistent. No one is checking in on you, asking you how you're doing. No one is putting in the effort into this relationship. There's kind of a disconnect there. And I feel like if you answered yes to all those things, then you need to let those people, those friends go because they're not serving your higher purpose. You need to find friends that are more in alignment with who you are today, not who you were 7 months ago, 5 years ago, and not holding yourself to those standards that you were to the person you were before. Understand? So I'm gonna give you guys an example. When I was in college, I was very, I was kind of naive, and I was kind of like a party animal, and I was kind of not on my spiritual journey that I am on right now. So I was kind of like a different person. I was a little bit more reckless, and some of my friends were kind of that way too. And as I started healing more and like digging deeper and delving deeper into and becoming more of an individual, I started to realize like some of the friends I had before didn't have the same ideologies that I had. We kind of didn't line up anymore, so I kind of had to make a decision one day to like be like, no hard feelings, but I just feel like we're not in alignment anymore, you know what I'm saying? So I just had to remove myself from those friendships. And it's not in a bad way, like, you know, you're just cutting everyone off. No, there's still a love there. Of course, you have to have, you know, you don't have to have love for these people if you don't want to, but yeah, you can just be cordial and keep it how it is and be friends from afar, but not as close. You know what I'm saying? Number 2, let's talk about partnerships and relationships and old standards of relationships and old partners, ex-partners that we had. I'm the type of person that believes like once you get out of a relationship, unless you and your ex were friends before you were in a relationship, I think that you should really let them go. Especially if you didn't end on good terms with your ex. I know some people like to spin the block and talk to their exes and be friends with them after, you know, some really bad breakups, and people work on things and stuff. But if that person that you were in a relationship holds you to the standards of your old self and they make you revert back to behaviors that you were exhibiting in those relationships. For example, let's take an abusive relationship. Not everyone has been in an abusive relationship. Not everyone is going to be in an abusive relationship. But I'm just using this as an example. So say for instance, you were in a relationship with a person and they mentally abused you and you thought it was okay. Let's say they would manipulate you and you would go back and forth with them. Let's say you're easily manipulated. Let's say you allowed certain behaviors to pass, but now you're spiritually awoken and you're healing and you're getting the help that you need, and you're not that same person anymore that takes the same crap that you did before. So you can't go back to that way because the person that was in a relationship with you still holds you to those standards. You're still that same person. They still see you as the same weak person that you were before. But now that you've grown, you're not that same person. It could be a month ago or 2 months ago that you broke up with that person, but the moral of the story is you're not the same person that you were before. So it's essential that you let those types of relationships go because they're not serving who you are today and what you stand for today. So it's unhealthy to keep those types of toxic relationships present in your life because they don't serve your higher and greater good. On this channel, I'm all about healing, being a boss, and taking initiative over your own life. So we covered friends, and we covered relationships. Now let's talk about family members, right? Because family members we can not resonate with family members too. So sometimes our family members are a little bit intrusive. Sometimes our family members feel like they have a say in our lives, or sometimes family members cause trauma in our lives, and we just need to separate ourselves from that. But here comes the tricky part. You can't really unalign with your family members sometimes. You can't really remove yourself from an environment. You can't really break off sometimes the connection that you have with these types of toxic family members because you guys are in a family together, right? But how are you supposed to grow if you're constantly seeing someone that caused you trauma? How are you supposed to grow if you're constantly seeing someone that you are a family member that you're constantly arguing with? How are you supposed to grow if you're constantly being around a family member that makes you feel uncomfortable? How are you supposed to grow if you're still having that connection with somebody like that? So that's why I say, in order for you to move into your own purpose, even sometimes our parents can be very intrusive and controlling, and I think it's essential to kind of take initiative over yourself and to kind of distance yourself away from that and kind of not remove them from your life because you love them, but to kind of distance yourself so that you can grow even more. So now we've covered friendships, relationships, family members. Okay, So I also wanted to talk about how our old narratives of ourselves don't serve our current selves. So another example of this would be like, let's see. When I was in high school, I used to think that I wasn't pretty, that I was embarrassing sometimes, that I was weird, and but now I embrace my weirdness. I don't think I'm weird at all. I think that I'm pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that I'm ugly anymore. I think I'm beautiful. So those ideas and those old narratives that I had about myself don't serve my current self, because my current self is confident, my current self is outgoing, my current self is beautiful, because I poured that self-love into myself. I poured that self-worth into myself. So now that old narrative that I had about myself, or those old narratives that people had about me, don't really apply to me anymore. Just think about like evolution, like everything's always constantly evolving. Think about snakes, right? I have this saying, I like to say the saying, it's like, why do we praise the butterfly but hate the snake? A butterfly goes from being a caterpillar to a butterfly. They go into metamorphosis. They evolve into something bigger and beautiful. A snake sheds its skin and, regenerates new skin cells, and it's still the same snake, but new skin, So we're still the same people, but new skin. I like to say, why do we praise the butterfly but hate the snake? Because there's always like this weird stigma around how snakes are evil and butterflies are beautiful and signify like peace and everything like that, and beauty. But a snake goes through metamorphosis in its own way, just like a butterfly does. It doesn't completely change, just shed skin, but yeah. So now that I've kind of talked about the types of things and people that we need to let go out of our lives that don't serve our highest and our greater good and our new versions of ourselves. So now that I've given you certain people and things to let go of that don't serve your highest and your greater good or your new self, here's a couple of ways on how you can let go of these things. Let's talk about friends. I think it's essential to have conversations with your friends and just tell them, hey, look, as a person, we all grow. We're not the same people we used to be. I still honor our friendship and I appreciate our friendship, but I think it's time that we go our separate ways. And I feel like that's a good conversation starter. It opens up the conversation, and that way it doesn't leave room for people to guess whether or not you're friends or not. Unless people have, talked bad about you or talked about you behind your back or done some really crazy stuff to you, you could just honestly distance yourself from them. By distancing, I mean limiting communication, not being around them as often, and just taking that physical distance. Number 2, here's how to let go of people that you're in a relationship with and like your exes or everything. I also believe that sometimes us constantly thinking about our exes and constantly being in contact with our exes kind of holds us back in a way. I feel like I said, unless you were best friends or really good friends with your ex before you guys got into a relationship, then there's no need to really keep into contact with them because you're not the same person anymore, right? But you are the same person, but you're not in the same energy that you were. So here's how to kind of let go of exes. I feel like you can have the same conversation with them if you guys were really close. And if not, honestly, if it hurts you to see them on social media, if you feel like if you're going to contact them and throw yourself back into that toxic relationship or toxic behavior or whatever, I would say to block them. Yeah, block them. You should block your exes, and I'm going to tell you why. being in constant contact with your exes is not healthy, especially if the relationship didn't end on good terms. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for them, you know? So block your exes, phone numbers, you know? Try to unfollow them on social media, because sometimes, I know it, sometimes just seeing their face can just like totally change your mood and like throw you back into the same type of energy you were in before. But you know, your energy is clear now. You're growing, evolving, getting into your higher purpose, serving your higher self. So we don't need that type of energy in our lives anymore. So block them, unfollow them on social media, and just, like I said, if you can, create physical distance. And yeah. Number 3, how to let go of toxic family members. This one is gonna be kind of hard, because sometimes you live with family members that are toxic and there's no way out. So, especially if you're a teenager, that might be really hard to really let go of, you know, close family members. But I'm sure you can distance yourself from like aunts and uncles and cousins and let go of them or whatever. But I think it's essential to have a conversation with these family members if you can. One thing about me is I feel like conversation is very essential. If you're not having these conversations with people, they don't know what they've done to hurt you, or what they've done in the past to make you feel a certain way, or, you know, they don't know why you're trying to let go of them, or what is the cause or the purpose to let go of them. So I think you should have the conversation with them, like the first one I talked about. Instead of applying it to friends, apply it to family members, and just be like, still love you, still family, but I need to go my own separate way, you know? It's not gonna be easy, especially if you have family functions and everything like that. It's definitely not gonna be easy, but I think it's worth a try to save your mental health and your well-being, and to really live in your purpose. Number 4, letting go of outdated ideologies about yourself, and outdated narratives about yourself, and outdated narratives that people have had about you in the past. How to do that is affirmations. Yes, affirmations. They work pretty well. You can look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am pretty, I am great, I am strong, I am confident. And you keep saying these things every day, and soon those old ways of like thinking, those old ideas that you had about yourself will kind of subside. And you can't really help what people say about you or what they hold you to, because that's not, you know, who you are. It shouldn't be any of their business anyways. But if people are trying to hold you to this old standard of like, oh, you remember you were a drunk, or you remember you used to be addicted to drugs, or, you know, you remember when you were shy, you know, I feel like in those types of situations, nip it in the bud. Be like, I'm not that person anymore. I've grown. Yes, I was that person in the past, but I'm different. You don't even have to give people an explanation. Sometimes you could just distance yourself from those types of people. But I feel like just nip it in the bud real quick. Be like, that was before. Today's a new day. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I hope that really helps you. Okay, so from this day forward, it is essential that you hold yourself accountable for the growth that you have completed, for everything you have done to make yourself a better person, because you are great and you deserve everything that's good in life, and you deserve to live in your higher purpose, to be free, to be loved, to be light. You deserve to be that person.